Hi there, it's Pete the Hipster King from the Hairy Game Lords, and this evening, well, I say this evening, actually it was last week, we have been playing this. Go Ahead Punk from Next Dimension Games. What did we think? Stay tuned to find out. I know he's going to say it, but you can't not look at the cover of this game and say, what about this artwork? Oh my days. I know I sound like Ange, but absolutely, we got sent a request to say, do you fancy taking a look at this? And we were like, the minute I saw it, like, yeah, we do. Then I heard it was Hidden Movement and that there was a lot of you're getting after each other and all that. I'm like, absolutely we do. This had the Hairy Game Lords pretty much written all over it from the beginning. So we were really pleased that we were able to get a copy of the prototype sent out to look at and get to play. So, Go Ahead Punk, clearly based around a particular film and a particular theme, and that artwork and that theme goes throughout all the components. Plenty of Easter eggs in there for those that know. It's a shame they didn't get the IP, but it's so close anyway. I don't think it really matters. It might as well be that game. In terms of the gameplay itself, it's a 1 to 4 player game. We played at 4. So Dave the Grey was Stinger, not Scorpio, for legal reasons, and he was he's the assassin who is just doing it for fun. He's going around and killing people. His job is to kill 3 people, get to the port, and get to his hideaway on Alcatraz. Our job as 3 of the best San Francisco police is to... The best. And we were the best. We were the best around. We had to fly around, run round, drive round, and incorporate other means of transport to get round and find the Stinger. And it was fun. It was really good. There are a couple of things that we need, hand on heart, we need to say. This is a 60 to 90 minute game. We are known in the Hairy Game Lords for sometimes overplaying our games. And this was no exception. It took us over 3 hours. It was probably 3.5 hours. As a result of that, there were times, got to be totally honest, there were times when it did go a little bit dry. There were times when I think different people in the game, dropped out for a moment. But very, very quickly, something would happen and we were all back in it. And we re-looked at the rulebook and realised that there were errors that we had made. They weren't huge errors, but they meant that there were turns that took longer than they should have. There was a thing with the basically there were a few decks of cards that both Stinger's got a deck and the police have got a deck. The Stinger's got a deck of key cards that are going to give him access to specific buildings that he can then go in and kill people in or from. And we've got a whole load of gear that we can get that's going to help us. It's got there's money available that you can pay informants who are going to help you know where he is. There's walkie-talkies that can help people move faster. Loads of stuff that you can get. In the other deck, which has got a whole load of other stuff that's really, really useful, there are cards that allow you to basically just get something from your inventory. The problem was, once we'd gone through most of the inventory, there were a few bits left, but we weren't interested in picking those. But you kept picking these, go to the inventory cards. Now, actually, what we should have done, and we would have been allowed to, is burn that card and just pick again. But we didn't, so that was a turnover. And each time, so that put some length of time in there. But realistically, the biggest problem in this game for us is that Dave played it too well. And between them, Martin and James played it really well as well.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not brilliant. I'm not brilliant at these kind of games. I would go there, and there in a straight line and do what I can. I'm not very good at hide and seek. I'm not very good at tactics. But basically, between us, we managed to shut down key areas of the city so Dave couldn't get to his hit spots where he was going to commit the kills. And he did an absolutely amazing job of hiding. He was brilliant at it. He was like a hide and seek wizard. He would go back down paths we've just gone down because nobody goes back down the paths that you would go down. Of course, he tells us that halfway through the game, so we start doubling back every time he goes past us. Of course, he's changed his tactic by this point. You had Martin staring Dave in the face every single move to try and work out by the sim, what was going on in that amazing head of Dave's. There was the moment when I picked up the helicopter and put the helicopter into the park, which completely cleared 2 of the hit spots that Dave was going for. And his face was a picture because he'd got it all lined up to do his second kill. But what came out at the end was this real tense finish where it was a kind of, Dave had got his 2 kills, he got onto his 3rd kill, but in doing his 3rd kill, he had to come out into the open, and there was a final battle, and in that final battle, James's character shot Dave as Dave shot James's character, and they both went down in a hail of bullets. But because we had killed the Stinger, we were victorious. A brilliant game of cat and mouse, really challenging, and just so beautifully done artistically. Lots of fun. As I said, because it took longer than it should have for us, there were drier patches, but there were some really brilliant standout moments and some real chess-like, trying to work out what the other person was doing and really getting inside each other's heads, which made this a really good hit for me.
Bearded lady here. The artwork. Oh, it's already been said.
Oh.
But the artwork is amazing. What's great is this game is very similar to Scotland Yard, but there is that feel of it's a lot more gritty. The fact that I think Scotland Yard is like the family version, whereas this, there's a lot more kind of grit because, well, the Stinger is just going off and just killing whoever he wants to. And what's really cool is each character has their own unique ability, which is really cool, and also has their own area which they can hold certain amounts of equipment. So Martin and we double teamed. We were both this character here, Eddie Johnson. Look at him, awesome. He starts off with probably one of the best weapons. He starts off with his shotgun, and therefore it has a roll of 3. So you've got 3 dice to roll from the off. Amazing. But of course it's still dice rolling, and so you still may roll misses, which actually our first encounter with the Stinger, all we did was just miss him, which was pretty annoying. We took so long to find him. We have a shootout with him. Ricochet, we miss, and he scarpers. A little bit irritating. But what's cool about this game is, and that goes above and beyond Scotland Yard, is the character boards, is finding, is the cards where you're going through the cards, you're trying to find really cool things to put in here. So you've got a space for a vehicle, so you can get there are 3 vehicles. If you can find that vehicle, brilliant. That gives you an extra move ability, which is essential in being able to track down the Stinger and capture him and have that fight. You can also have bullet vests, which the other 2 had, because all the time we were packing some amazing guns. We ended up with a rifle that was 4 dice, and it meant also the special ability on the rifle was you could shoot from a different location, from the location next door to where the Stinger was. Amazing. So cool. There's also health. So, when you're in a fight with the Stinger and the Stinger, he has 10 health. We only have 5. But we get to miss a go to ER and heal up. Good times. You heal up 2. You can stay in our ER and heal up another time. Brilliant stuff. So we got to re-roll. That was our special ability, re-roll. James's character got some brilliant stuff, which I'm sure he'll tell you about. But really, really, really enjoyed this game.
Slightly Beardy James. So I played as Catherine Lacey, the only woman on the force. And I'd like to believe that at the end of the game, when I took down the Stinger and I guess was grievously wounded in the process, that I would then have an epilogue scene where I woke up in the hospital surrounded by my I guess kind of teammates, colleagues, comrades. But I don't know. Who knows what happened after this? I think that I probably ended up actually buried with a medal. Who needs a motive when you are dressed in a jumper like that? There's the Stinger fighting a bunch of people with a rocket launcher.
I mean, it's a beautiful cardigan.
That cardigan. Oh my goodness. So, my thoughts on this game. It's a lot of fun. The thing that I took away from this game is really hard to find people. Now, I'm going to put it out there. I'm terrible at Scotland Yard. I'm terrible at hiding. I'm terrible at finding people. But I knew one thing in this game, that he was trying to get to certain locations. That Dave was trying to get to what actually turned into 3 locations. So, to start off, there are loads of places that Dave can go to murder people. I mean the Stinger, not just Dave. This isn't a Dave simulator. A few of those are only good for the start of the game. So there are some which are near the docks, which are just useful for the start of the game, and they can't be used in the 3rd hit. Dave was finding keys, and he finds keys at random to these different places. But I don't know. I think he just got trigger happy and used his first 2 hits on other locations from these other ones. So he actually closed down the amount of places he could go for his 3rd hit. And I, being very intelligent, used this information to pin him down with Martin. And we used the helicopter very, very funnily to frustrate his plans and to trap him. So what actually happened was a lot of, I guess, waiting and bouncing, and in the waiting time we were picking up new kit, we were fighting hoodlums. One of my favourite cards that came up, which is like a bit awfully topical, was was it kind of not police brutality, was it police brutality that Pete kept on doing? And so Pete's character kept on getting pulled in, where is he?
To City Hall.
Kept on getting pulled into City Hall. So Pete was playing as Frank Brannigan, and Frank Brannigan kept getting pulled into City Hall because of complaints of police brutality. Like, okay, so this is a game which is based in something that's quite dated and also topical. So it might not be a game for everybody because not everyone likes police brutality. Nobody likes that actually. Anyway.
Oh yeah, no one likes that.
Yeah, let's snip that. So
It's a claim of.
It's a claim.
It's a claim. Might not be real.
It's a complaint.
Oh man. So my special power was where have I gone? Here I am. Catherine Lacey's special power was to get intel from the streets, and so in my imagination, I love the way this game gives you scope to kind of like build up stories, and so in my imagination, I was meeting all my homeless contacts and talking to them about where they'd heard about this cardigan-wearing maniac. And the thing with my character was that if I got a tip, everybody else would find out the general location where Stinger is, whereas I would find out the exact location where he is. I'm going to give you a little bit of an idea of that. So there's a lot of regions which are quite large, but I would be able to pinpoint them to a single location. So I spent quite a lot of time gathering intel, and whilst I didn't get many guns, in fact I don't think I got any guns, I got a first aid kit, I got some body armor, I got myself a nice car, I got a walkie-talkie, I had loads of cool stuff, and didn't see any combat until right at the end of the game because I was just faffing around in the hills.
So you got shot in the face.
Until I got shot. But it was all fine. So the only thing I think that Dave will say against this game, and this is just a prototype, bear in mind, is this is what Dave had to, to hide what he was up to. This map is very small for elderly eyes like Dave's. And so whilst Dave was kind of squinting across at the map trying to figure out what number he was trying to move to, that was probably the biggest thing that slowed us down, actually. Dave trying to read the map from across the table. Although saying that, one of the best things about this game for the hidden movement is hidden movement was done entirely through this grid. So if anyone accidentally, and I didn't even cheat. If anyone saw this, then all they'd see is Dave's character on I don't know, a place on a grid. And so there's no accidentally seeing where he is on a map. You just I don't know, you just might see him somewhere on a grid, which means nothing at a glance. So I really like that because it protects I guess the mystery of Dave sneaking around in the city. So yeah, I think this game is hard, or maybe that it's just Dave is really good at it. I think that it's a lot of fun. Really enjoyed the way that you could kit up and the way that you have to be economical about how you do that. I really like that you got to work together as a team to be able to find them. And I really liked the stories that came out from it as well. And yeah, it was fun trapping Dave and having that final shootout. That was a very nice, exciting finish to the game. So yeah, we'll play again.
This is the Stinger phoning in from a mystery it's Dave the Grey. You probably guessed from my not so subtle disguise, but I obviously played the Stinger. For some reason I'm typecast as the bad guy in these things. I'm really not sure why, but if you check some of the other videos, might provide some clues, and that is what this game is all about. So I'm running around the map trying to keep my location secret. Every fourth turn I have to tell them where I am, which is a bit of a problem when you're trying not to get into some sort of police shootout, which, to be honest, I started with a rifle. Martin just had all of the guns. Everybody was trying to pick up cards to get cool cars, guns, tech, info. Martin, for some reason, just ended up with all of the guns. So getting into a shootout with Martin, bad plan. And I did a pretty good job of avoiding that for almost the entire game. But yeah, every 4 turns, you have to give away your location. So it pays, I discovered, to try and make sure that happens when you're going to do something which gives your location away anyway. So shooting somebody, for instance. This is a morally grey game, shall we say, especially for me, who played the shooter, going around shooting up civilians and police. But it was a ton of fun. What more can I say, because I am a bad man. But yeah, sneaking around, every 4th turn, give away your position. Shooting somebody gives away your position. So trying to get those 2 things simultaneously, always a good plan. What you really don't want to do is give away your position and then a turn or 2 later give it away again, because the cops will be on your trail. And they were just, they never gave up. They really didn't. And I got myself into a position sort of halfway through the game where I'd killed 2 out of the 3 people I needed to target, but they were sitting pretty much on top of all of the other places I could go. So I kept having to draw them off and then try and sneak in before they turned around and went back again. And it was really, really hard work at times. And then in the end, I went down in a blaze of glory, but I took James with me. And let's be honest about this. In many ways, I feel I won. I may not have won the game, but I took James down with me. So, you know, it's the little things that count. But it was quite thinky for people that have played Fury of Dracula, I think you'll get this game straight away. It's got quite a few similarities, probably less frustrating as the chaser to Fury of Dracula, because that can be quite irritating at times. But I think the only thing that this lacked was probably some sort of timing mechanism, because we did get into a few points where it was a bit of a stalemate and I couldn't really do anything, but they couldn't catch me because I kept slipping past them, which was deeply satisfying on many levels, it has to be said. Quite often as sort of the one in a one against many, you can feel sort of quite left out and on your own. This was an absolute blast playing as the one, and the sense of achievement when they thought they knew exactly where you were, jumped on you, and I'd already just like gone past them, and I was over there somewhere now, and it got to the reveal turn, and it was like, haha, yup. How did you get over? I went past you ages ago, mate. You know, you were there, and I just skirted past you, went back the way that you'd come from, and I've just been laughing at you behind your back. So that was absolutely great. Just, I think, something that made you actually progress rather than everybody's just entering into a holding pattern would have perfected it. But tweaks to the rules notwithstanding, I think that was probably my only complaint about this. You start with a rifle, you can end up with a rocket launcher, shooting at a helicopter, and making off with all the money. Tons of fun. If you like your 70s cop films, obviously this is quite closely based on quite a famous film. Do you feel lucky? That's all I'm going to say. Give this a try, because as ever, pitting one mind against the combined might of the hairy game lords, coming so close, so close to sneaking past James before it all went horribly wrong. It was an absolute blast, and I was going to say I'd like to play the police next time, but I'll be honest, I had so much fun playing the shooter that I'll probably just have to fight them and play the shooter again, because it was absolutely my cup of tea. And